You got issues.
Alright, welcome to episode number 3 of Damaged Chronicles. I am Metal Ben, obviously. We got the Demon Master, Ryan Arnold, with us too from Damage Incorporated. And the album we're going to be talking about came out on October 27th on Metal Blade Records, 4th studio album by this band. Talking about the newest album by Sorcerer.
Reign of the Reaper. Oh. Apologies, everyone. I think Metal Ben, I think he might be having problems. Ben, I think you might be having some problems here. Technical difficulties. He'll be back, but yes, we are talking about the brand. I guess I'll temporarily take over until he comes back and fixes this. But yes, we are going to be talking about the new, as you can, well, see, screen is frozen, but yeah, we're going to be talking about the new Sorcerer album, Reign of the Reaper. This is their 4th studio album. Yes, 4th full-length studio album. They previously released. Their last studio album was Lamenting of the Innocent, released 2020. Yeah, this is their newest one, came out last week. Via Metal Blade. Yes, we're kind of continuing a tradition here. With a Metal Blade, because the last two we did was Cannibal Corpse. But yes, this band was formed, I believe, in Stockholm, Sweden, in 1988. 8 by members Johnny Hagel, Tommy Carlson, and Peter Frulid. They were around briefly from 1988 to 1992, and then this is their current run where they've had a few studio albums they put out. Yes, but they have also had a few singles come out for this album. I believe it was Morning Star and the title track, which I think we both have listened to for a little bit. And we both love it, but hopefully he should be back here soon. Oh, there he is.
Apologies for that. Of all times, now the Wi-Fi wants to start acting up.
Yeah, of all things.
Anyways.
Yeah, I did give him a little bit of an intro history about the band and stuff like that, so... And about
all right,
the album.
Good. Excellent. All right, so we'll dive right into this album. Hopefully everything runs smoothly now.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so new album. We got 8 tracks on this album, clocking in at roughly
47 minutes and 6 seconds on my phone.
Nice.
So yeah, none of the songs are relatively long. They're all around the 4, 5, 6 minute range, so they're not all relatively long, but
right.
You know.
Which I think is a perfect length for a studio album. It's not too long.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking up the track listing here. Okay. So opening track. This was the first single released off this album.
Yes. Morning Star.
Yes. I mean, pretty much an epic way to begin the album. I mean, to me,
definitely.
But to me, I definitely feel a power metal vibe on this track.
Epic Doom. I'm getting because of the whole thing of some of the bands where we got into them because of the EP they put out, the covers EP, of course. And I was hearing more of like that kind of that Tony Martin era Sabbath, pretty much, where obviously that era of Sabbath is a major influence for them. And I'm hearing a little bit of that. Obviously, it's more of like that Epic Doom of like Candlemass, stuff like that. Very more epic, like not quite power metal, but epic doom. Kind of epic still, but not quite power metal. More of like an epic doom.
Yeah, good point. And it's good you mentioned Tony Martin because I can definitely hear a lot of Tony Martin throughout this album.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The one thing I want to mention about this is like I feel like these when I was listening to these, I think some of these songs kind of connect, especially the first 4 songs, Morning Star, the title track, Thy Kingdom Come and Eternal Speak. They kind of feel connected. It's not quite like a concept, but they feel like they're connected in some way.
Yeah, I kind of get that vibe too. It's kind of like a good versus evil thing. That's kind of the vibe I get on this album. Like there's a lot of dark shit in this album, but there's also, a few tracks on here that are kind of uplifting, which is kind of, like Morning Star, obviously, it's a very dark song. Like lyrically, it's very dark. Even though it sounds kind of uplifting musically a little bit, you can definitely hear some darkness in this track.
Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
Just trying to think lyrically what this track could be about.
I hear it's about Morning Star, Lucifer. They mentioned Lucifer.
Yep.
I'm Lucifer. It's like all that stuff. It's Lucifer basically. Kind of that Lucifer Morning Star.
Absolutely, yep. So Morning Star begins it. Really good beginning to this album. Just great stuff. Like you said, very Tony Martin like on the vocal delivery.
Yeah.
Guitar solo wise, I mean, there's some really good guitar solos on here. I hear a lot of. It's freaking weird. The guitar player on here reminds me of Chris Broderick with his style of playing. It's really weird.
It's 2 guitar players. We got on here. We got Christian Niemann and Peter Hallgren.
Okay.
So they're both lead guitarists and stuff like that. It might be this Peter one, maybe. But they have 2 guitars. They're both lead guitar players and stuff like that.
Okay, so they kind of go back and forth then, kind of like a
pretty much.
Kind of like a Denner Sherman Downing.
It's like that. Like I said, it's like a Tony Martin Black Sabbath headless cross era of that lineup, pretty much. It gave me, I think, a few times it reminds me of that era. I mean, granted, Tony Iommi can't really shred, but he can. He's got some chops and stuff like that. He's not one of the best when it comes to doing shreddy solos, but he gets the job done. It is similar to that era, that headless cross era of Sabbath.
Yeah, I can definitely hear that. So then we got the title track, "Reign of the Reaper."
I feel pretty much the same. It feels the same as like Morning Star, just a little bit different. More about, obviously, it's about the Reaper and death and all that stuff on there.
Right. So this one, it's a little slower paced compared to the opening track. Definitely a bit more doomy on this track, but man, is this track epic sounding. You even get a hint. You even get a little bit of death metal vocals in here.
Morning Star, you had that too. Both of them have that kind of style nearing the end, where they have that kind of that low guttural. Near the end.
Yeah, which really gives the song a really, really cool atmosphere, adding in a little bit of that death metal vocal style.
Yeah, definitely.
But again, vocally, I definitely hear some Tony Martin, maybe a little bit of Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah, because they mentioned the rainbow reference, the rainbow influence and stuff like that, pretty much.
Right. Now, some of the riffs on this track, you definitely get that Sabbath type of vibe or Candlemass type of vibe, but I even hear a little bit of Merciful Fate and a little bit of the rhythm playing on here. Pretty interesting stuff what's going on guitar-wise on this track,
Yeah, definitely.
But this one, I think it's another stellar solid track,
Yeah.
So then we go into track number 3, Thy Kingdom
Will Come.
So this one, I'd say this one's a bit more mid-paced,
Yeah.
kind of has more of a just a traditional heavy metal drum type of pattern going on here for a bit. You know, pretty catchy song too. I mean, it's got a pretty decent riff on here too. You know, kind of has like again, it kind of has like a bit of a Merciful Fate vibe to it, to me at least. I don't know. What do you think of this track?
I was just coming off of that, just remembering it was a really good song. Like I got really, it's starting to feel. It was a good track. I can't remember much when I remember listening to it, but it's like it was a good track.
Yep, yep. So then we go into track 4. Now this one,
this literally, I know. Listening to this, it's like When Death Calls Part 2. It sounds like When Death Calls.
You know what? I can hear that. Yes.
Yeah, I literally heard that. I remember hearing that. I'm like, When Death Calls Part 2. That's what this literally sounds like. It's got that. It's got that feeling, that continuation of what that song was. Their version, at the very least. It's so damn similar.
Right. It is very similar in a lot of ways. Yeah, I can definitely hear that, especially in the acoustic guitar work. You know, and the way he's doing the melody on, or the way he's doing the melodic vocals. Excuse me, there.
Exactly.
You can definitely hear that Tony Martin vibe to it. You know, I think this is a really good song too. I mean, yeah, you can kind of hear like the similarities a little bit, but all in all, it's still a really good song. Another comparison a little bit. Now, vocally, it definitely don't sound like this, but acoustic-wise, maybe a little bit of Diary of a Madman too. You know, just a little bit. You know, but all in all, this is a really, really good song, I think. So then Curse of Medusa is next. This one kind of speeds it up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. This was more of like speedy, more like that. Kind of got that speed metal or something like that. Like it's like that. Yeah, what am I trying to think of? Who would fit that? Like that. Bark at the Moon, like the Jakey Lee speedy riffage and stuff like that on there. It's got that fast kind of, not like completely ripping off Jakey Lee, but because they were influenced by Waiting for Darkness and Bark at the Moon era Ozzy, like absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah, man. Another excellent track on here. Yeah, this one's a bit heavier, a bit faster. It's not like full blown speed metal, but it's got like the speed, it's got speed in it. Like this one, I definitely hear some Merciful Fate style rips going on in this track.
Yeah.
I could definitely hear it. But all in all, man, really good track.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent trade-off guitar solos on here. Another great vocal delivery here. Just a good one. So then we go to Unveiling Blasphemy.
Yeah.
Which this one's a really interesting track lyrically to me. It's basically about how humanity has turned on God. That's kind of the vibe I get lyrically on this track, and how humanity basically follows the sins of humanity, All in all, this is another really good track, and the guitar solo on this one's a little interesting too. It's kind of weird. When I was listening to this back, what I heard solo-wise was a little bit of John Petrucci in the solo on this. I'm not sure who's actually playing it.
Yeah, it's either one of those two guys. But...
Right. But I kind of heard a little bit of Petrucci in there. And, man, this one has some excellent bass playing in it, too. You can hear some really good bass lines going on in this track. A very memorable chorus, too, in this track, I think.
Yeah.
So what do you got to say about Unveiling?
It was just another one that was like, I really didn't really pay attention to much of it. But hearing, I can kind of agree a little bit. Another great track. I'm going to get to the shortest song on the album, The Underworld.
Yes. Yep. This one's a pretty heavy track, too, Now, I'll admit this one I kind of do forget about a little bit. It's probably the only track on the album I don't have much memory of quite yet until I get more listens to it. So I'm going to sound a little stupid talking about this one. From what I remember, it's got some pretty heavy doomy riffs in it. I mean, the underworld, obviously, it's about,
hell.
Yeah, obviously. Okay, so lyrically, I do kind of remember. See, it's almost like this album goes in two different directions lyrically. It goes in an evil direction, then it goes in a wanting to get out of the evil direction, if you know what I mean. So the underworld to me lyrically sounds like it's about wanting to get out of hell. That's kind of the vibe I get.
Exactly. Yeah, well, you get from the darker stuff of probably the first 4 or 5 or 6 songs, and then you start to get out of that and get to the light and stuff like that.
Right. So then the last track, Break of Dawn. This one, to me, it's definitely doomy, but it also has a bit of it has a bit of a little bit of a progressive edge to it. There's some pretty interesting parts of this track. Like, there's a part in this track where it completely slows down, and it's just like an acoustic guitar, and the vocalist singing over top of it. You can kind of hear like a guitar lead being played behind it. I think that part's awesome. I mean, so I definitely think this track's a good way to end the album, which I was kind of going back and forth when I was listening to it, because at first I thought, you know what, maybe Eternal Sleep should have ended the album, but
that would have been an EP. That would have just been an EP right there.
Well, what I mean is like switching the tracks around, I guess. But now the more I think about it, no, I think Break of Dawn is definitely a better ender.
Yeah, definitely.
To this album. Yeah, this is a really good track. Again, you can hear that Tony Martin era Black Sabbath influence on this track,
Yeah. Yeah, that like literally Tony Martin Black Sabbath is literally written all over this album, pretty much.
Right. So yeah, you got anything to say about the last track on here?
I liked it. Again, this was more of like just getting more of like background music that I was listening to while still listening to this and getting thoughts, so I still haven't had any much memory about this one, but I'm like, yeah, this was, I kind of have to agree with what you said until I get maybe another good listen to it. Maybe I might have a different change when I probably rank this in my end of year list, probably, so I might have more time to listen to it then, but but this song was a good way to so I'll agree with you.
I mean, I'll definitely say this is a pretty solid album. It's probably
that first half sold me immediately for me.
The first half is probably definitely the stronger half of the album. I will definitely agree.
Yeah, you got all those banger after banger after banger banger. It's a great stuff.
Absolutely, this track, but it's an incredible album. I mean, I'm anxious to hear the other 3 albums now. I definitely need to get them. All in all, for me, what score would I give this? I mean, this one, I'm not going to say it's my favorite of 2023, obviously. I mean, we still got a month to go, but to me, score-wise, I would probably easily give this album probably a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I'm around there, but we got a few people, and we got Zach Blabbeth, we got Kyle, and got Drusiper in here. Yeah, I'm probably gonna. I'm gonna definitely kind of maybe agree somewhere around there. I do think that first half does carry this album pretty big deal, but I do think it does kind of lack a little bit nearing the end. I'll give it a 9.5. It's a great album, and it's definitely one I'm gonna probably listen to over and over again, and probably score will probably change. Like there were reports where I was thinking it might get that 9.75, but that ending is like it gets a little bit, but there's a chance for it to grow.
Absolutely. So yes, if you like Candlemass, if you like
Tony Martin
or Black Sabbath, if you like
Dio, Rainbow, anything
Dio,
Rainbow, too. Even Sabbath or Heaven and Hell in this case, or Dio solo. you might end up liking this one.
Yeah,
Even
check
Park
it
in the
out.
Moon era Oz, yeah, definitely check it out. But yeah, I guess but I guess before we end this, we do want to mention some other things that we got. This won't be it. There's going to be plenty more times we're going to be doing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, obviously we're moving over because of his schedule change. We're moving over to Tuesdays, and we got.
Yeah.
I mentioned to him before we started. We got another album we'll be talking about. So obviously, I think Tuesday is kind of a teaser. It's a teaser of a teaser. It's a teaser of a deep dive teaser. We're going to be talking about Humanity Hour 1 from Scorpions, which, fun fact, was the first ever Scorpions album I ever bought when I was a junior in high school when it came out. And then the next one, after that one, these are going to all be album reviews. The other one is going to be, if I can, I don't know if it's accessible real quick. I might be able to possibly get it out. Where is it? Ah, here it is. I got it. This album right here.
Yes, that's going to be coming up on a future episode 2, probably the next episode after Scorpions Humanity Hour 1, actually.
Yes, because here's the thing. I was originally going to join them for this particular album. Well, what I meant by them, I meant by him and Me Metal Mike when they did Judas Priest years ago. But I was supposed to join them for that one, but I never did. So I'm like, let's do that one. But then after that, we're figuring out what else we could do with this. So if y'all got any suggestions, let us know,
Absolutely. Feel free to give us some killer suggestions on albums you want to see us talk about and review, definitely.
Or even rankings or deep dives, whichever. We want to continue the Damaged Chronicles thing.
Absolutely.
So,
yep, this is a new thing every Tuesday night, like he said.
Or so long as it's just me and Ben, obviously.
Yep. Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Hell yeah, we'll be doing this.
Yep.
So before leaving, by the way, shout out to all you guys in the chat room: Drucifer, Kyle, and Zach Blabbeth.
Oh, I just typed up Drucifer. Has over 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah. By the way, subscribe. Yes, subscribe to Drucifer.
Yeah.
If you're not
yes, Drucifer. You just got yourself a new subscriber in me.
And yes, congratulations to Drucifer for just hitting 1,000 subs.
Yeah, he's over 1,000 now. It's awesome.
Yep. I guess bashing Ghost on your video really helped out. Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a little thing I just thought about throwing in before we end this. What did I listen to today prior to listening to Sorcerer? Well, I just got this in the mail. A classic when it comes to hardcore. Before Typo Negative, I was blasting this in my car. Carnivore's Retaliation.
Yeah.
And this weekend, speaking of Typo Negative, I am going to be doing an album ranking because now I got the whole fucking discography.
Nice.
So I'm going to probably do that on Sunday. So stay tuned for that. And anything else we're forgetting?
I think I'm kind of glad you mentioned that we're doing this Tuesday because I think for me, I'm so glad we were only going to be doing this Tuesday. I think next week or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I could do. So maybe something next weekend. Maybe even this weekend. I don't know. I might do something, but I don't know. I'll figure it out.
All right. Well, I guess that's all we had for this episode. Yes, 9 out of 10 on my end, 9.5 out of 10 on his end.
Yep.
That's our review of Sorcerer's newest album,
Reign of the Reaper.
The Reaper. All right, we are out.
Yeah.